Welcome to It Is Always Now with Marty Long. Get ready to open up and let true joy into your life. Join Marty for conversations about inclusivity and respect, the importance of curiosity, and making change happen. Your journey of exploration and discovery into the greater world around us begins now. Here's Marty.
Greetings. My name is Marty Long. My goal is to encourage you to awaken your curiosity. Curiosity is what keeps us seeking and finding truth and lasting joy. Now, no discussion is required, I think, in order to convince people that it can be hard to focus, hard to take control of our reactions, especially when under stress. So sometimes we need an off-ramp. Now, I visualize this as being a little different from the pathways in our brains that I've previously discussed. I see this as an off-ramp, like those runaway truck ramps. If you lived in a part of the country where there are very deep up and down hills through the mountains, which I once did, you might have seen one of these runaway truck ramps. So the truck is going downward on a steep decline, and the brakes go out. And now he's going faster and faster, and lives are at stake. He's going to cause an accident. And then he sees one of those off-ramps. It's a very steep incline filled with sand. He can steer onto that, head upwards, and the sand will ultimately stop him. So this is what I think of when I feel like I'm being in a situation where I could overreact. I know I need to be able to shut down those impulses quickly, hopefully before I overreact, to be able to take a deep breath and clear my mind so I can approach things in a more constructive way. Now, the Muse forces me to shut down my emotions in order to achieve the goals it presents. So, by using the Muse, I am slowly strengthening that off-ramp. Let's get started on understanding how the Muse works. In this podcast, I want to stick with the basics. Like so many electronic devices, Muse has many options and you could become overwhelmed. I'm going to stick with the basics as long as it takes for me to be fully comfortable, and then I'll go from there. Now, just to be clear, this is the Muse 2, as in the number 2. There is another one out, Muse S, second generation, in parentheses, Gen 2, which is now available in retails for around $400. No wonder I couldn't say that. The Muse 2, which I have, can now be purchased, often at reduced prices on Amazon and eBay. Just for the record, I Googled a description of Gen 2. It appears to me that the basic functionality is pretty much the same. It touts a better signal quality, faster battery charging, more accurate battery level indicator, an updated headband, and so on. So I'm quite comfortable continuing to use my Muse 2. And I can't quite see how this is going to work without some visuals, or at least I feel it would work better with visuals, which is why I have created a YouTube video and posted it on my channel at Marty_Long with the same title as this podcast, Muse 2 and You Take 1. For those of you who choose to not use the video, that's fine. I will try to explain things in a way that allows you to visualize them, and you can always go back and watch the video later. Now, I'm assuming that most of my listeners are not aware of this option, or maybe you've heard of it and you're curious, or you might even be using it, and it can't hurt to see how it works for someone else. You might learn something. So stay with me for the next few minutes, and you might be surprised. Now, to prepare, if you want to use the YouTube video along with the podcast, put this podcast on pause, get the video up, pause the first slide, and when you're ready, come back to me. I will tell you when to advance to the next slide. And there's no audio associated with the video. Or just, again, listen to the podcast now, watch the video later. Don't try to make it complicated if you're not comfortable with all of this technology. And any feedback you can give me will be appreciated. You can go to martylongnow.com and send a message on the contact tab. For those who have the video up, be sure to pause on each slide, and I will tell you when to go to the next one. So slide A is just a cover. Slide B, this slide wants to give you a chance to make sure you are connected both to the podcast and YouTube video. But I repeat, this is all just too much. Podcast now, video later. Slide C. This podcast is a very high-level introduction on how the Muse can train your brain, help you to create and reinforce pathways and especially off-ramps in your brain. And it is a brief introduction. Next slide, slide 1. Get connected. To get connected, you turn the headband on and the application on your iPhone. Make sure your headband is on. You'll see a little white light at the tip of one earpiece. Before you put your headband on, you will see a red light inside the band that indicates it's connected to the application. And you will see a little circle in the application that lets you know you are connected to the headband. Now, the little circle in the application is usually white. In the example I happened to capture for the YouTube video, it's red and indicating that my battery in my headband is low. Slide 2. Now you select the focus for your biofeedback meditation, which is what they call it, since your feedback is in your brain. The 4 basic choices, mind, body, heart, or breath. For this video, the examples I'm showing, I selected mind. Slide 3. Select the meditation that appeals to you. Over time, you'll want to try different ones. There are 3 basic ones that show up on your screen, the main screen there. Rainforest, ocean, and desert. And there are related sounds. So rainforest, you hear rain. The beach, you hear waves rolling in and out. And desert, you hear wind. When you are calm and relaxed, birds will chirp. Now, I find that sometimes I can hear them while I'm in the meditation and sometimes not. I think it depends on the volume I have or the type of ambient noise that I'm listening to. But once you're done and you get to your results, you will know how many birds you did or did not hear. If you have indeed remained calm, you'll see lots of birds. And if you aren't so calm, you'll see lots of gold stars. Slide 4, select the length for your meditation. So far, I've only used 5 minutes, starting out easy, and then click Start Session. Slide 5. Now, when you click the Start Session button, it automatically goes to this next slide, where you can review the content of your selected meditation. I think the real purpose of this is to give you a chance to make sure you're really ready, and then you click the Start Session button on that screen. This is where the rubber hits the road. Relax. Let the Muse fully connect to you. You're now on a screen that shows some white spaces in kind of a half circle, and slowly those fill up with green, except for the little skinny one that is for your heart. That one's red. This is where you can really find out if you have the headband on correctly. And it's a little different for everyone. For example, the graphic that I showed you earlier shows the headband close to the eyebrows. I found I need it in the middle of my forehead in order to get a full connection. The way to do this is to make sure that the headband is firmly behind your ears, and then just gently move the band up and down on your forehead. Once the connection is made, the system will give you a little green check mark and a little bell dings and automatically go to the next screen. Slide 7. During this session, this screen will display and keep time. Most likely, you're going to have your eyes closed, which is fine. You will hear a gong when the time is up. Then you still are given an option to either continue or end the session. Okay, that's a lot of information. Take a deep breath. Let's just keep going for a few more slides. Slide 8. Now you have the opportunity to document both your mood and observations during that session. I find it very helpful if I'm honest with myself about my mood and in those notes. Slide 9. I have used the Muse for about 2 months. I will share with you 2 sets of my results. One very bad, one quite good. Slide 10, I do want to emphasize here that it takes time, patience, and practice, but I can honestly say that my ability to focus has already improved. And that even is given the fact that I'm not actually using this on a regular basis, and I'm sure if I did that, I'd get even better results. Slide 11. Now, here is a description of the virtual stats that Muse collects during your session. So, gold stars mean you kept losing your focus and getting it back. You'll see lots of those on my bad example. The bluebirds tell you that you were calm. And on my good example, you'll see lots of bluebirds. And sometimes you get a mix of both. Now for my 2 examples. Slide 12, I'm starting with the very bad one. See almost a solid row of gold stars there. And this shows I was constantly losing and regaining my focus. And in fact, I was only calm 6% of the 5 minutes. Now, in my notes, I say that I was listening to ambient music and my eyes were closed the entire time. You would think, based on that feedback, that I was calm, but clearly I wasn't. Now, this, to me, is one of the biggest values of this tool. The stats forced me to rethink and learn from this experience. Slide 13. Here's one of my best so far. Notice all of the bluebirds, almost a solid line, which shows I was calm, and this time the Muse said I was, in fact, calm 84% of the 5-minute session. So here's what I said in my notes. I did this right after I got up, eyes closed, used one of my repetitions that I have in my meditations book that I've written. As I breathed out, I said, no, I thought in my mind, noise out. As I breathed back in my mind, I said, spirit in. I did this as needed to keep my mind clear. Now, what did I learn from these 2 sessions? And again, this is it. You need to go back. You need to compare times you've done well, times you haven't done so well, and learn from it. So the first thing I learned is that I am so used to my mind spinning that I can't tell the difference between that and being calm. But now that I had this comparison in my mind, I've been able to pay more attention and have actually been able to improve my ability to slow down my spinning thoughts. Slide 14, samples of the type of awards given after each session. Muse is about positive reinforcement, but some of the awards do give you hints how you could do better. Take the Birds of Eden Award. Here it says you get at least 2 birds per minute. I will tell you that I do not always hear the birds, I think as I already mentioned, but this is where I can see them in the feedback, and the award further reinforces that. The Tranquility Award. Being calm for more than 3 minutes in my 5-minute session. You get the idea. They aren't only giving you the Tranquility Award when you are calm for 5 minutes or 4 minutes. They give it to you for 3 minutes. It's enough for you to see room for improvement, but feel good about yourself. I do want to say that all of my Muse images in this video were screenshots from the Muse app on my phone while it was connected to my Muse headband. So what do you think? If you are electronically inclined, you could see that this might be for you. If not, that's fine. One size does not fit all. So we will leave it there for now. And for those of you on the video, if you keep going, at the very end here, you will get some calming music to listen to. And if you enjoy that, check out some of the other videos on my YouTube channel at Marty_Long. No matter what, just remember, now is always the time to focus and ponder and find that connection. It is always time to try a new approach. Mix it up. You never know what might work for you unless you try. It is always now.